it's it's not saying anything, and I don't know if I'm on. I guess I might be. Hi, I'm Jaynee from Messages from Heaven by Jaynee on YouTube. Um, it didn't say anything this time at all about, well, that didn't tell me I was on. Anyway, there are two things I wanted to discuss today. One is the tarot and what I do with it, and the other is reincarnation. With tarot, I have the cards, but not to, I don't try to read them and apply what it says on the cards or in books to anything. What I do is I take the cards and I pick a card, any card. Let me grab a deck and I'll show you. Okay, here's a deck. Um, I forget already what these are. These are my cat ones, but it doesn't matter. They can be. I mean, if you're not paying attention to what the card means, doesn't matter. Um, okay, you pick a card. Now, what I didn't do was I didn't, try to go through them and mix them up and all that stuff, which is a good idea. And I'm not good at it. These are too big for my hands. And so I do what I can. All right, they're somewhat mixed up. They're kind of mixed up. All right. So I pick a card. I don't go by the top card. I'm trying. I mean, it's for me. It connects with my guides and angels, so I don't have to go by the top card. I just pick a card. So here's a card. I picked a card. Cat. So what I do is I think about what does the card say to me. I might have asked a question first, and the card will connect me with my guys, and then I know. Um, this doesn't necessarily. I don't know. I'm not. I have to be in a different state of mind to read it. I make them all standing up, so they're none of the upside down, because I'm not doing what the tarot cards are supposedly meant to do. But I just pick a card, and let me see what I wrote. Um, what does it say to you? Uh, Not what the card is supposed to mean, just to you. So you can ask your guides first, even if you don't know that you have guides. Um, Everybody does. And there are times when I don't believe I have guides because I don't see them. And I did see two of my, I don't know what they are really, two of my beings from other planets. So eventually, if you meditate, you do see things. If you don't want to, don't do it. But I did see them. And of course, I also saw my grandmother, my great grandmother, both passed on long before I was born. Um, I don't know that I wasn't afraid before I started doing all this. I know when I saw the aunt from next door that I wasn't really scared. I was, but I wanted to talk to her anyway, and I did. Um, After that, I wasn't scared at all. Um, so, I mean, I just wasn't. And I've seen a lot of, beings. I've seen the the children, the not abortions, the what do you call it? The when you have a pregnancy and it doesn't go to term, it ends, and they are supposed to be on the other side, grow up there. So I've seen them. Don't have any idea what, but I have seen them. Try the cards if you have them. You can also use regular cards. I mean, literally a deck of cards. Because if you're not, if you're, it, don't care about what it says, it will just, you're just, all you're doing is looking to make a connection and see what, hi, what it tells you. And if you get nothing, so what? You've tried it. And if you keep on doing it, you will get stuff. That's the thing, to keep on doing it. Okay, reincarnation. Um, every soul I have talked to is very content in heaven. One that I talked to was, well, he was a kid and he had committed suicide, and he just, it wasn't that he was discontent. He just needed his mom, especially, to tell him it was okay and stuff like that. Um, Even he was okay being there. Everybody seems to be very happy with it. There is no yeah, there is. But if you don't think so, that's fine. I don't care. Do whatever you do. Um, people, people find their own way. And um, my mother, for instance, never believed in anything. Didn't believe in reincarnation. Absolutely not. Didn't believe that you die. That's it. You die. You're buried, and goodbye. That's it. End of story. Um, when she actually passed away, she didn't. She went to the other side, and I saw her 2 days ago, or 2 nights ago, or last. I don't know. I think 2 nights ago, and she's still doing what she did. Partying, having people to her house, that kind of stuff, and friends, a lot of friends. Um, she had on a fancy hat, and her hair was almost black. That was really the color mine was too when I was younger. Um, anyway, I went off. Okay, they're in heaven. I'm calling it heaven. It's you can call it Maryland. It doesn't matter. There are thousands of layers. I am told that. I don't see that, but I'll be damned if somebody like Trump is going to be with me. I don't think so. I mean, evil people, I think, find other evil people to be with. The people that you find who are toxic, I don't know, but I think really, truly evil people like that don't, I don't, no one has said anything like that they're there. And everybody seems to be very happy, doing all kinds of things, visiting other planets and stuff. Um, let's see. Um, when we decide to reincarnate, we might pick our parents or just take what's available because there might not. We have a family over there. Um, they are all kinds of people. When I did see my family, it just looked like a bunch of people, like 1,000 people standing there. And that was when my great grandfather jumped up and waved to me because he wanted to make a connection. And actually, we've been close. Um, I guess we were friends on the other side. I don't really know, but I really like him a lot. And his wife, my great grandmother, is. Do I have her? Yeah, I did her. I did a drawing of her. It's really a painting. This was my great grandmother, old fashioned. She died in 1907. And oh, this is my great grandfather. He didn't look like this when he jumped up. He had a full beard, and he looked relaxed, not like a schoolmaster like he did. It looks there. Um, okay. Well, if you, no matter what, even if you picked your parents, it can still be bad. bad fit. Um, it may be your what am I writing here? It may be your karma, yeah, to work out the trauma from a bad match or not. It's really you, like what you decide. Um, a bad match does have consequences because it can bend you this way or that way. Um, it is, I have to write this stuff down because I really do have a problem with bringing up words. Okay. It is our job to work through all the issues, unless, my handwriting is horrible, unless you want to return to work through it another time. You can just like push it off. You can do that and say, well, okay, I'm going to work through this, or I did work through this, and that's it. That's enough for this life. I'm going to leave the rest for the next life. You can do that. There's no rule. Absolutely. It's your choice. So you can do that if you want to come back and do it. Um, it is our job to come to Earth and gather circumstances, situations, and bring them back to ourselves as spirits. We do that so that we understand at the spirit level, because otherwise we would not. It gives us the opportunity to see. I could be all wrong, believe me, I know that. So, gotta understand that too. Um, how do you know where you lived? How do you know what life you had? Got clues. Okay. What country do you care about? What country fascinated you as a child? That's a tell. Um, where did you love? Where did you want to travel? Where did you love to travel? Where do you look look to see what's the news about that place? Um, if you meditate, it it will draw closer. You'll be able to feel it more easily. Um, okay. Uh, okay. For years, I had this memory of being in one of the First Nations. I think that's the correct way to say it. They used to call it being an Eskimo. I don't know if they object to that now, but I know that I was because I remember wearing thick something very thick and um, being in the water at one time, being on a boat, uh, getting someplace. I think really that's about all I remember. But I remembered that since, I don't know, since I was a kid. I knew, and I didn't know how I knew. I just did. Um, okay, that was one. Oh, yeah, because everything was really cold, really, really cold, and the ice floes were around us. I was in some kind of boat with other people, and there were ice floes. I wasn't nervous. I wasn't worried about the boat turning over. If that were me now, yeah, I'd be like, you know, but no, I wasn't worried. And I don't know where we were going. I didn't see any other animals, just the ice floes. And I knew we were going, I knew where we were going, and it all felt familiar, which is something too. The fact that it feels familiar. Um, yeah, the ice. Okay, all right. Um, I was a cave painter. I think I told you this before. Um, I remember I had one of those things where the therapist takes you back and you look and you see a life that you had. And the one that I came up with that time was being a cave painter. And I didn't know when I first saw it that that's where it was. I thought that first I thought I was a man and that I painted on a wall. Well, I did paint on a wall, but I was a woman and I was painting. Actually, I saw it later in another meditation. I was painting on the wall and I was painting women having babies and being pregnant. And the guys who were, well, it wasn't just guys, it was women too, were hunting and they didn't like it. They wanted themselves to be memorialized. They didn't want women, even though they knew that it was a miracle for us, for someone to become pregnant and have a child. Um, they just wanted themselves to be on the walls and didn't want the women to be the whole thing. I thought that was, just eating a buffalo or whatever they caught. Um, I didn't think was a. I mean, there were a lot of animals around. Didn't seem so important. Okay, in the, I don't remember from. Oh, I know. I was in the Roman army. My husband was too, and so was a friend of ours. Um, I we were in Great Britain killing people and killing. I was supposed to kill women and children, and I didn't want to do it. Um, I'll be. I'm doing a show. I'll be down later. Okay. I told him before, but he didn't remember. Okay, that was my husband, and we're going to be married 61 years if he lives that long because he's really ill. Okay, 61 years. Um. Anyway, they got. Oh, okay. I was in the. I decided I'm not going to kill women and children. I don't care. So, of course, they ran me through with a sword. So I was dead, but I didn't. I really didn't care. I mean, it wasn't. I don't know. It seemed like okay. Um, we were killing tons of people all the time. Um, yeah. Okay. So during the Middle Ages, uh, I remember two. One, I worked with my father making shoes out of leather. And then he died, and I tried to do it, but I hadn't learned enough. And I think everybody died, and I don't know why or how. It might have been the Black Death, the what do you call it? Forget it. I'm gonna not remember. I remember it later. Um, Black Death is good enough. And then I came back another time with with the man who was my cousin in this life, and he was my big brother there, and I was a little boy, and he protected me for a long time, and then he died. You, you could, I mean, there were no antibiotics. There um, aspirin didn't exist. There was very little. If you didn't know about herbs, um, then you didn't know anything. You didn't know how to help with pain or what to do when. Well, if you got a big cut, there was a good chance you died because if it got infected, which was common, there was nothing to save the person. There was no way to stop it. Okay, I was also a monk at one time. Um, I also had a life in Holland, and the way that I remembered that was I opened the medicine cabinet in my bathroom, and I remembered opening a shutter in Holland as a um, housemaid. That's how, I realized, like deja vu. Uh, um, and there's another one. My dad was a slave. He was a dark skinned man. He was real tall, and I was a little girl, and he really loved me. He I was being babysat by I would say an old man, but well, to me at that time, I was about 3, and this man was sitting on the wooden steps of probably a slave cabin. He had on an old jacket, an old like sports jacket, and some shirt, and he was babysitting me. And I don't know what I was doing, but I was little, and I think that I died when I was little too. Oh, I have another life also that I forgot about. Um, I have a close friend that we were together in Germany. I think either in the 18th or 19th century, um, Germany. We were. She was my cousin, I think, and we were in a well-to-do household. We were all dressed up. I think I told everybody about this one too. We had bows in our hair, big bows, and that was a real 19th century thing. Big bows and the shoes that came up to mid calf, little round shoes, and fancy dresses that we got mud on. And we would prance around holding hands and talking to people. And people would be walking back and forth, going shopping, buying their food for that night. There was no refrigeration. And we would talk to them, and they would give us candy sometimes, or just talk to us. And we went to visit this man who I knew in this life, and he lived alone in a real tall house, and he would come down and give us candy. And then we would eventually go home, and the cook would sort of berate us for getting our dresses all sloppy, and then she gave us cookies because she really did like us. We were really good little girls and fun. We were adorable and just fun. We were cousins and we lived together. Probably some parents died. I mean, you know, died from anything in those times. Um, okay, another life. I think this was in Barcelona in 1930. I hope you're not really bored with this because it's long and kind of boring. 1937, the Nazis, uh, for one and only time, bombed. I think it's Barcelona where it's the only time they bombed a subway. So I had gone. I think it was a new job. I think I'd gone to secretarial school. I'm not sure, but I was down on the platform crawling, and I remembered that. I think it was in a dream. I was crawling and grieving because I wouldn't get to have a family. I wouldn't get to have children. I really wanted those things. And I was dying, so I wouldn't get to do it. My twin is now my granddaughter. Um, at one point, um, she looked at me when I was either putting her into the car seat, I think that, and she looked at me and said, "You're beautiful." And I said, "What?" Because I was, 75, 71, I don't know. And she said, "Well, you're my twin." I said, "Oh." This was before I started meditating, before I started studying with Susan Lynn. I mean, I'd studied in the 1970s, but I did see things, but I learned a lot more from her. My granddaughter used to say that a lot, that like, she would come do things with me. And when I would say, "Thank you for doing that," she would say, "Well, you're my twin," a lot. And this last time was really a big deal because she's looking at me, telling me I look like a different person because I had to have been about 19. I think I was maybe 20 when I died. So, yeah. Okay, so that was I think Barcelona, but I'm not positive. Okay. Um, my last one that I know of at this point is I was a Polish woman. We had a farm. My parents were older. I was the youngest child, I believe, and I was in my early 40s. Loved the farm. It was a really nice farm, not a really big one as Polish farms in that time. It was during the Second World War. The Nazis were there. My parents were religious, and they had taken in Jews because the Nazis were killing every Jew that they could grab. They were sending them um, to the killing centers, or they were putting them in trucks that would leave the poison gas in and kill them while they were riding in the trucks. They would just shoot them down, and um, outside of places where they'd fall into this big hole. So my parents did that, and they took in a whole Jewish family. Someone reported us. So the Nazis came and they shot us all. Um, the reason that I wanted to come back as a Jew because I wanted to know why. Why do people hate Jews like that? What's the story? So I came back, and you never really get away. You don't need to get away from your family because they're so it's such a huge family, and there are going to be people in there that you like, you know, and you want to hang out with. Um, it's but they populate your lives. I know my brother popped in and out of my life. Um, I guess sometimes he was my sister, sometimes he was my brother, but he popped in and out. I don't see the lives yet, but it doesn't matter. My grandmother, same thing. And I'm sure that with you, it was the same because it's just what it is. It's kind of common sense, the lowest denominator. We stay with our family. We sometimes have other people involved, but we're mainly with the same thousands of people, maybe 1,000, maybe two. I don't know how big. Very, I mean, it looks really, really big. Um, we're talking like a whole college full of people. I mean, it's a big group, and uh, and then you change because we're really spirits. We're not really this meat, you know. We're really spirits, and uh, we do change. If you hate a certain group, you better believe you're going to come back as that because it's we want to know. Our spirit wants to understand everybody, and it wants to understand hate and love and compassion, all those things. It's, it's how it is. And if we aren't, the thing is, we want to get neutral about other people. If we get riled up from something someone said, we're not neutral. And if we do get riled up, it means that there's something in us that identified with whatever craziness that person said. And our job isn't that person because they have to take care of themselves. But by us being bothered by what they said, it means that we have to look at that in our lives. And that's important. I always say that you are in charge of your life. You are the judge. You're the ultimate judge. Nobody else is. Um, even even if you're a parent, it's really the child who will. You raise a child, but they are the ultimate judge. They're not you, and everybody's different. We are as different as every snowflake, and it's up to us to love ourselves and to be proud of how we behave. That's important. Um, getting nasty with people isn't really good. I was I was just at I went to the dollar store. I don't know if they have them in your country, but they probably have something like it. So I went there and some a young woman was trying to push her way into this long line of people waiting to get to the cashier. And I said to her, the line is behind the lady behind me. It's not over there. And she didn't like that because her intention was really to get into the line, maybe after, who knows, whatever. And she didn't like it. And I kept on telling her, look, that's where it is. And she said, well, there are people behind me. I said, I don't care. The line is behind this lady. She said, well, if you want to get angry about that, that's the way it is. It's just a reality, I'm like, that's it. It's not getting angry. The line is behind this lady behind me. I should have said to her, I saw you come after I was here, but I didn't, it didn't even occur to me. Anyway, I think that's my problem that I speak up all the time and it's not always too good because sometimes people are lackadaisical. They're really nuts. So if you start something, you may start with the wrong person. Okay. So I won't. The news is really that the United States is in a dictatorship right now. That is dictatorship. Um, at the moment, I never thought I would see that. And if you're an older person, or at least middle aged, I doubt you would have expected to see that. It happens fast. Okay, so um, if you are, I know a lot of my watchers are in India. Um, I'm very glad that, oh my God, I'm very glad that your president, why is it? Okay, refuses to kowtow to our president. Um, I'm really glad. I wish more prime ministers would do that. They don't, and it's really a problem. It makes it worse. So, okay, but that's enough for me. Thank you very much for watching. Uh, I am doing this to see, okay, somebody, what's his name? This is an American guy, I guess, Aaron Wilson. Like he thinks that people, I don't know what they think they're just going to say something to you and you're just going to say, oh, that's right. It's all in my imagination. I'm dropping everything I learned. Yeah. Mm-hmm. All right. I really didn't plan to do any of this. I was an artist and just came to me. But I always saw spirits. So be it as it may. Okay. Thank you very much for watching. I really appreciate it. Please push the buttons. Please write to me. I really miss it. I love it so much. And just, I will be talking to somebody from Google shortly. And I hope that he helps my little non computer knowing person and make some headway here. Um, okay. Thank you. Have a lovely evening. Okay. Bye bye now. I'm pushing the button. There it goes.